Hello all, this is Damini, co-founder of VMake Scholars. I welcome you to the 20th episode of our web series Loanflix Season 2. For those of you who are new to this channel, let me tell you Loanflix is a web series which covers each and every detail of an abroad education loan. Right from the process, eligibility, disbursement, repayment, each and everything. And Loanflix is an initiative of VMake Scholars. VMake Scholars is an organization which is funded and supported by the Ministry of IT, Government of India, and its sole purpose is to help students like you get an abroad education loan. And all the services of VMake Scholars is completely free of cost. Now, for those of you who have directly landed on this video and haven't watched season 1, I would encourage you to watch that first, because in season 2 we are discussing little advanced level topics. So if your basics are not clear, you may not be able to understand these. So do watch that first. Link for the same is given above. Coming to today's episode, if you're currently at a stage where you're deciding whether to go for an education loan or arrange money from friends and family, this video will help you take that call. And do you know that there are a lot of people who have arrangement of whole money, like whole total cost, as liquid funds lying in their bank account, but they still go for an education loan. So I'll tell you what are those advantages which intrigue such people to take a loan instead of using their own money. Right, so I'll start this episode with government schemes and subsidies which are designed to encourage people to take an education loan, such as TCS on foreign remittance and subsidy schemes and tax exemption under Section 80E, etc. And then I'll talk about the personal level elements which you should consider when you are deciding whether to go for a loan or not. And in the end, I'll talk about all the disadvantages of taking an education loan. So let's start. But before that, if you appreciate the whole idea of Loanflix and the effort we put in, then please subscribe to our channel and hit that bell icon to get regular updates. Let us start with government provisions which are designed to support those who wish to take an education loan. The first one is TCS on foreign remittance. So this is a new tax policy which was introduced in the budget of financial year 2021 but was implemented from 1st October 2020 only. So this policy says that whoever is sending more than 7 lakhs abroad in one financial year, they will have to pay an extra tax. So for education related expenses, this tax percentage was kept at 5%. But if your education expenses are coming through a financial institution, that is through a bank or NBFCs, via an education loan, then this tax percentage will be 0.5% only. So for example, if you're sending 20 lakhs abroad in a year, the first 7 lakhs will be free of any tax, but on the remaining 13 lakhs, you will have to pay a tax. Now, if you're sending this 13 lakhs through your self-funding, then you'll have to pay 5% tax. So 5% of 13 lakhs will be 65,000. But if you are paying this 13 lakhs via an education loan through a bank or NBFC, then it will be only 0.5% of 13 lakhs, which is 6,500 only. So that clearly means that going for an education loan can save you money. Now let's talk about the next factor, which is subsidy schemes. So there are 3 education loan subsidy schemes in India. Number 1 is Central Scheme of Interest Subsidy, which is CSIS. Number 2 is Padhoo Pradesh scheme, and number 3 is Dr. Ambedkar Central Sector scheme. So all these 3 subsidy schemes waives off your interest of your moratorium period on your education loan. So CSIS is for domestic education, whereas Dr. Ambedkar scheme and Padhoo Pradesh scheme is for abroad education loan. Now both these abroad education loan schemes waives off the interest portion of your education loan only for the loan of up to 20 lakhs. Yeah. So now if you're taking like your 30 lakhs loan, in that case also the subsidy scheme will be only applicable on the 20 lakhs interest portion. Okay. So now this advantage is not like an advantage because like the previous point of TCS, you actually save money by taking an education loan because you get a lesser percentage of tax. But with this point, it's like, if you have your own 20 lakhs with you, you don't have any interest portion on that. So you don't really need a subsidy. But this also means that, if you qualify for a subsidy scheme and, you get one from the government, in that case, the entire money which you are using from your loan is actually at zero cost. which is always better than using your own money, right? So yeah, so do consider this as an advantage of taking an education loan. But all these subsidy schemes have very strict selection criteria, so you must watch my full-fledged video on subsidy schemes, which is linked above. So I have made multiple videos on Section 80E of Income Tax Act. Let me tell you what exactly this section says. So Section 80E says that the entire interest component of your EMI on your education loan can be claimed as deduction in your income tax, which means that the whole interest portion of your education loan is actually tax-free. Yeah. So let me explain this with an example. So for example, let's say your father's taxable income is about 12 lakhs per annum. So he will be in 30% tax bracket, paying about 1.8 lakhs in taxes every year. Now let's say you take an education loan for your masters, let's say about 40 lakh rupees at an interest of 10% per annum. Now with your father as co-applicant, now you will be roughly paying about 4 lakh rupees as interest on this loan, 10% of 40 lakhs, so roughly 4 lakhs. Yeah. So now this 4 lakhs is actually interest free, which means your father can reduce this amount from his taxable income. So your father's new taxable income will actually reduce from 12 lakhs per annum to 8 lakhs per annum. And the tax on 8 lakhs per annum is only 80,000 rupees. So his annual taxes will reduce from 1.8 lakhs to 80,000. So 1 lakh saving in taxes every year. So this is the advantage of taking an education loan. I know this calculation of Section 80 is kind of tough, so that's why we have made a calculator which you can use to calculate the savings in your case. You can find the link to the calculator in the description below. So if you have any questions regarding Section 80E, please put it in the comments below and I will definitely get back to each one of you. And you can also watch my full-fledged video on Section 80E, which is linked above. Now, in addition to these advantages by Indian government, there is one more. So Government of India has funded VMake Scholars under their Digital India initiative, and VMake Scholars help all those students who are looking to apply for an abroad education loan without any charges. So it's a completely free service. So this is another advantage by Government of India. Now, besides these advantages by government, there are a few personal level elements which you must consider while you are deciding on whether to take an education loan or not. Let's talk about those. So firstly, independence. It brings to you as a student, or if you're the parent who is watching this, the independence it brings to your child on his finances. Education loan is designed to ensure that it is a liability on the student, not on the parent. That's why every education loan in India takes student as the primary applicant and parent is just a co-applicant. And also every education loan in India must have a moratorium period, which means the repayment, the EMIs will start only 6 months to 1 year after the course is over, so that the student could have a job by then and he could take it up. Yeah. So if you feel that you must take the responsibility of this higher education on your own, then go for an education loan. Secondly, if your family doesn't have enough liquid funds, taking an education loan saves you from begging your friends and family, which I'm sure no one likes. Thirdly, taking an education loan means the only burden your parents will have is to pack you pickles and groceries when you tell them about your abroad education plans, not the financial burden. And lastly, even if your parents can somehow manage the money for your education by breaking some FDs or selling some gold, you really shouldn't exhaust their liquid funds, because in future, let's say unfortunately there is some medical emergency, then your parents will be left with no other option other than going for a personal loan, which is double the interest rate of an education loan. The only disadvantage of taking an education loan is that you have to pay interest as well as the loan processing related charges. But as everyone says, what you're taking this loan for is a brighter future. So if you believe that this higher education is gonna increase your income and opportunities, then this interest shouldn't bother you much. But you still have to ensure that you get a good interest rate and all, right? So if you have your own money, then please take that call whether spending that money will be a better idea, or can you save more by taking an education loan and using TCS and subsidy schemes and Section 80E benefits. A lot of people told me that another disadvantage of taking an education loan is its stressful process. Guys, getting an education loan can be a terrible experience if you approach the banks directly. Because for all the biggest banks in India, the last thing they would ever want to do is education loan. Because home loan, car loan, personal loan, these are their priorities because of more earning to the bank. But that's why VMake Scholars exist. VMake Scholars is an organization which is funded and supported by the Ministry of IT Government of India, and our sole purpose is to help students like you get an education loan. We assist you with the entire loan process, and all our services are completely free of cost. You can start your loan process with us by requesting a call back using the link mentioned above. That's it from my side for this episode. If you have any questions, feel free to put it in the comments below and I'll definitely get back to each one of you. And if you personally feel that there are any other advantages or disadvantages of taking an education loan, then also please put it in the comments below and I'll be happy to discuss that. I hope this video was useful and it could help you take that decision on whether or not to go for an education loan. If you appreciate the effort we put in to bring this information out to you, then please subscribe to our channel and hit the like button and share it with your friends and colleagues who might be deciding on taking an education loan. Stay tuned for my next video. See you then.
Don't forget to subscribe and click on the bell icon to never miss any updates from us.